Man, how has it already been 7 years since the teaser for Elder Scrolls 6? Seriously, 7 years, Todd? That's almost 2 full Skyrim playthroughs in real life, or 3 re releases of Skyrim, and all they've given us is one drone shot of some mountains on a coastline. Now, there's this current rumor going around about an internal trailer being passed around at Microsoft like it's some exclusive stash of moon sugar that none of us can get a sniff of. Meanwhile, the rest of us peasants are out here just twitching for updates like addicts waiting for Todd Howard to come out on stage and hit us with that sweet "it just works" line, with that smug little smile, knowing that it probably and most likely will not work. So I figured, why not have some fun with it? Let's talk and theorize about where Elder Scrolls 6 could take place, even if it's a total long shot. Alright, before we go full conspiracy theorist on this, let's just talk about what Akavir even is for the casuals out there who didn't feel it necessary to learn hours of lore for a place we will never see in a fictional fantasy world. Some people would rather learn things like life skills or personal finance or whatever those are. I graduated high school in 2010. You think I had time to learn that stuff when I was only 3 years deep in my Oblivion run? Akavir is basically the giant landmass east of Tamriel, separated by an ocean we've never been allowed to sail across, but one we've pretty much all tried to cross in Morrowind. Bethesda's kept it deliberately vague, almost as if they want to keep it fresh for developing an entire game how they would want to without worrying about stepping on their existing canon. It's described as wild, dangerous, and almost alien compared to Tamriel. And it's not one unified empire either. It's split into 4 big regions, all with their own insane tribes with their own vibes. I apologize for that joke, and in advance if I butcher any of these names. They're pronounced differently around the internet, and without official statements from God Howard or Heiny Boy PD himself, I'm just going to say them however the hell I want to. The Sayesi are vampiric serpent folk. They literally conquered Cyrodiil once. Legends say they ate all their own men. Imagine being so hardcore you turn cannibal just to maintain a certain aesthetic. The Kamal are a frozen nation of demons that thaw out periodically to go on raids. Their entire foreign policy is, "Oh, Marone, we'll be back when the ice melts, capiche?" They're like the White Walkers, except it doesn't take them 8 seasons to do essentially nothing for the overall plot and have a super anticlimactic ending. If you like season 8 of Game of Thrones, I could put something in my toilet you're gonna go absolutely fucking bananas for. The Tang Mo are monkey folk who are described as mad but brave. Basically, they'll do anything if they think it's funny or heroic. Absolute chads in battle, they'll go Gimli and probably tally their kills mid-battle for a fun game with each other. Lastly, we've got the Ka Potun, tiger-like warriors with an actual empire. Their leader tried to become a dragon, like literally tried to transform himself. Not in the Martin turning into Akatosh way either, but the Parthenax literally being a dragon way. Akavir is just built different, dude. The geography there is equally nuts. Dense jungles, freezing wastelands, huge mountains. It's the kind of place where you don't explore so much as try not to get eaten. Like the first people who set foot on Australia or Madagascar. It is crazy how many animals and plants there want to just murder you for fun. But we're digressing, and nobody wants to hear a geography lesson from a fucking video gamer. Come on. But yeah, back to Akavir. Crossing the sea to get there, that would be the perfect spot for a dramatic Frodo sailing away style cut. So let's do it. So why would Bethesda even consider setting Elder Scrolls 6 there? Well, let's start with the obvious. Akavir literally has VI in it, the Roman numeral for 6. Bethesda lives for that kind of cheeky naming trick. They will literally delay a game release so the date looks cool in a trailer. They would absolutely do it just so Todd Howard can wear a shit-eating grin on stage like he just came up with his magnum opus of wordplay on the level of Jason Mraz or Bo Burnham, and he can ride off into the sunset, knowing that he made 3 great games, 1 barely passable game, and a few clever word tricks. Second, look at how they've evolved their game systems over time. Fallout 4 introduced settlement building, basically turning us all into post apocalyptic HOA managers for Preston Garvey and his Minutemen. Starfield took that and gave us outpost construction, resource gathering, a massive open world, or well, a massive open galaxy, if you'd call it that. The problem with Starfield is it really didn't do anything interesting with those systems. It's like they built a billion planets, but changed almost nothing about them, restricted your movement, had the same four building types just tossed in there. Okay, I need to stop before this becomes a Starfield rant. No Man's Sky started terrible and ended up incredible. Starfield somehow managed to stay right below expectations, even with the ability to mod the damn game. But that same tech, with some refinement and just a touch less procedural generation, could be perfect for Akavir. You've got this gigantic, unexplored continent with minimal established lore, perfect for colonization gameplay, outposts, diplomacy with foreign cultures, faction wars. It's literally the best sandbox they could ask for. If they didn't just copy paste Starfield's design and actually put in the work, it could be phenomenal. But if they want to just phone it in again, then maybe we should just go back to Daggerfall procedural generation. Speaking of Daggerfall, let's bring it back to reality for just a second here. Bethesda's not exactly subtle about this. Pete Hines has already said Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be set in Tamriel on X in the past. Todd Howard's talked about how they like keeping places like Akavir mysterious and off limits to maintain the allure of the overall world, letting the players draw their own conclusions where they can, and how he didn't think it likely we would ever explore another continent outside of Tamriel. And that 2018 teaser, it doesn't exactly scream alien jungle continent. It looks like Hammerfell or High Rock. Craggy coasts, dusty plateaus, and some mountains. Granted, it could be the coastline of Akavir, and there could be much more inland, but odds are it isn't. One thing to note though is the lack of settlements in the teaser. You do have to admit, it does look pretty barren and possibly uncivilized. Honestly, I could sit here and break down the teaser to explain why it probably is Hammerfell or High Rock, but we can be honest here for a second. You've probably seen a dozen of those videos over the last 7 years, and there's not much I can pull from that 18-second teaser that hasn't already been pulled, so we can just skip the content farming there and I won't waste your time. And let's not forget, Bethesda's been playing it safe lately. Starfield was supposed to be their big leap. After the mixed response, do we really think they're going to bet the farm on a completely unmapped, brand new continent with no familiar landmarks or cities? What are they going to do? Create 6 prefab dungeons and make you load into a small area where they stick one on either side, then tell you to have fun in your tiny boring sandbox and enjoy the loading screen when you're all done? Probably not. Also, if you haven't been paying attention, fuck you, Starfield. But if they did do Akavir, and the video hasn't ended yet, so we're still going to pretend they are, what kind of storyline could they run with it? One idea I had was imperial colonization. The empire is crumbling, desperate for resources and allies. So, they launch an expedition into Akavir, and you're part of it. Building settlements, making deals, or breaking them. It would let Bethesda use all those settlement building mechanics in a setting where it actually makes sense to build true, real, town-like settlements. Another option would be an Akaviri invasion. They invade Tamriel once again, but you're sent across the sea to stop them at the source. It's a mix of sabotage, diplomacy, and old-school Elder Scrolls politics with entirely new factions and monsters. Plus, a choice at the end to either screw Tamriel and help Akavir, or fulfill your mission that you've started the game with. Very cool choice in my opinion. Or maybe, with my last option here, the lone explorer. There's no empire, there's no army, it's just you, dropped into Akavir to survive and explore, learning local customs, navigating faction conflicts, making allies or enemies, letting players shape the region's future however they want. Maybe you went off looking for the Nerevar from Elder Scrolls 3, so you can call him a motherfucking Inwa for causing the eruption of Red Mountain and essentially dooming the Dunmer. But that's a story for another day. It's honestly the perfect blank slate, as long as Bethesda has learned what they should do with a blank slate. Learn the lessons from your mistakes of previous games. No more dropping some steamy hot turds on my lap and trying to charge me $80 for it, please. I can't take any more of it. So yeah, that's the ideal scenario. Elder Scrolls 6, Akavir. Will it happen? No, probably not. It's a long shot, like me beating out Tom Brady for a date with Sydney Sweeney. This kind of theory is when you're right at 3 a.m. on a message board while wearing a tinfoil hat shaped like the Emperor. Except, it's not 2012 anymore. So instead of writing, I need to shove a lot of images and tons of color in everyone's face and upload it to YouTube. But it is fun to think about, right? New cultures, new environments, a true sense of the unknown. Rather than go somewhere we've already been, why not go somewhere nobody expects? Realistically, though, it is probably Hammerfell and or High Rock, and that's fine. They're cool places too, and it's been a few decades since we've been there in a mainline game, but it's safe, predictable, and honestly, it's kind of boring to me. Hopefully, I'll be alive in the year 2100 when Todd Howard releases Elder Scrolls 7 and we get to explore all of Tamriel, except he's going to have to Mr. House himself in order to make that dream a reality. Hopefully, the technology will be there before we know it. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments. What would be a cool storyline for the game if it wasn't Akavir? Where do you want to go in the Elder Scrolls 6? If you enjoyed this and want to hear more of my unhinged rambling about Elder Scrolls lore, other areas of gaming and life, and guides, hit like and subscribe to the channel.